Hey,
Hey!
everyone!
Today me and Maya are reading Mr. Putter and Tabby Bake the Cake.
It is written by 6-year Rowland and Arthur Howard.
And it's the Mr. Putter and Tabby series.
Woo!
And on the back it says, a sweet gift for a sweet number.
It's Christmas time, and Mr. Putter and Tabby want to give a light and airy cake to Mrs. T-Berry. Bacon will be a piece of cake, or will it?
Can I listen to you read the book? Yes, Santa. You sure can. Yay! I'm super soft, and I can get fouled at Wilbur, and I'm inflatable. Okay, let's go ahead and get started. Mr. Putter and Tabby bake the cake. Mr. Putter and Tabby bake the cake. Mr. Putter and Tabby bake the cake. It was wintertime. Mr. Putter and his fine cat Tabby sat at the river every night and watched the snow came down.
I can't see. They watched and dreamed. Mr. Putter dreamed of the big red sled he rode as a boy. He dreamed of snowmen big as a house. Tabby dreamed too. She dreamed of the snow drifts she walked on. She dreamed of snow drifts she walked on as a kitten. She dreamed of a deep dawn through the white yards.
And it looks like she had 3 little friends. This cat and that, she had 2 little friends.
She did.
She looks so cute. Oh, this is so good and jolly. Ho, ho, ho. What, you reached that? Okay. Mr. Putter and Tabby were old now. They had a lot to dream about. That's why they love the wintertime. They love wintertime because winter brought Christmas. Ho, ho, ho. I like to hear the sound of that.
Mr. Putter loved to give Christmas presents. He started thinking about Christmas presents in July. He liked to think of what he could give the grocer and the librarian and the postman. Mr. Putter also had to think of what he could give to his neighbor, Mrs. Seabury. This was the hardest of all. He usually had to think about this all the way to December.
Ho, ho, ho. Presents are joy. Mrs. Seabury likes silly things. She liked Cocoa-Mans with monkey heads. She walking. She likes snake.
Salt shakers.
Shock shakers rocked across the table. And she liked dressing her teapots.
Dresses for her teapot.
Dresses for her teapots. She even liked fruit cake. Mr. Putter could live with monkey cakes and walking shakers and
salt shakers.
And dressing up teapots. But Mr. Putter could not believe Miss T-Berry liked fruit cake.
Yeah, fruit cake is nice.
He couldn't believe anyone liked fruit cake.
Every Christmas, Mrs. T-Berry ate mounds of fruit cake. It worried Mr. Putter. This winter is worrying him a lot. He thought Mrs. T-Berry should have a good cake for Christmas, not a fruit cake that could break her toe if she dropped it. That's funny. A good cake, a light and airy cake.
Could it actually break your toe?
No, the fruit cake is nasty. It's disgusting.
And one night, he and Tabby sat and dreamed of the snow in the winter. That's when they decided to give Miss T-Berry for Christmas. Mr. Putter would bake a Christmas cake. It would be the Grinch.
You know? I can't see. No pants. Oh, pants. The cake was not a kinch in the first place. A kinch. Mr. Putter did not know how to bake a cake. He could bake instant muffins. He could bake instant popovers, but he had never baked a cake. He didn't know how.
In the second place, Mr. Putter had no pans. He had muffin pans, he had popover cans, but no cake cans. He even had baked cake, and he
even had where you at? If he had baked the cake, yeah, you're right. If he had baked the cake.
he would have had to been in a shoe or maybe a flower pot or even a hat, but not a cake pan because he did not have one.
And in the third place, Mr. Potter had no cookbook. He had books on seaweed. He had books on clouds. He had books on Chinese trees, but he had no cookbooks. Mr. Potter thought about Mr. Potter thought about no cookbooks, no cake pans, and the fact that he did not bake cakes. He said to Tabby, maybe for Christmas this Teddy Bear would like a nice cup of tea and a card.
Hey, look, it's a picture of Santa. Ho, 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 I like that.
Yeah, that's what you look like. Mary Sue.
One week before Christmas, Mr. Potter and Tabby took a treat to the sweet shop. It was owned by a woman who was famous for her cakes. She baked cakes with names like Strawberry Woman and Pumpkin and Bowers Sweet.
Her name was Mary Sue, and if anyone could teach Mr. Potter how to bake a cake, it would be she. Mr. Potter told her his story. He wanted to bake a Christmas cake, he said, something airy, something that would not break a person's toe. Mary Sue listened carefully. She took good notes. She began to sell him things. She's so unskinny.
She sold Mr. Potter 7 bowls. She sold Mr. Potter 3 Stevens. She sold Mr. Potter 10 spots.
Where you at? Spoons?
5 cups,
Twister spoons.
2 spikes, a roll of wax paper, and
It say spikes. Spatula.
And a Christmas tree pan. She told him. She even sold him an easy bake cookbook and sent him out the door. Mr. Potter had spent $100. He still didn't have any flour.
Something eerie. On Christmas Eve, Mr. Potter had everything he needed. He had flour, sugar, eggs. He had spoons, bowls, swifters. He had a cookbook. He had a pan, and he had a good cat to keep him company.
Mr. Potter's baked all night long. The first cake had failed to fate. The second cake wouldn't leave the pan. The third cake caught on fire. And by the time he had baked the fourth cake, it was Christmas morning. His eyes were droppy. His face was sweaty. And he was moving very slowly.
But Mr. Potter did not give up, and by 9 o'clock in the morning, he had made the most beautiful Christmas cake in the whole world. It was light, it was airy, it would not break a person's toe. He woke up Tabby, and together they took the cake to Mrs. T-Berry.
Seems like you're not wearing any Christmas stuff like they are. They're wearing Santa hats.
I am Christmas stuff. I got my elf pants on.
I wasn't talking to you.
Oh.
Miss Seabury was excited. She was thoughtful. She was paint. But soon as Mr. Potter sat down in his chair, he fell asleep.
Oh Lord. And she had to wait 12 hours before she could cut her cake. She wouldn't have any without Mr. Potter and this how long that is how long he slept. But when he finally woke up, Mrs. T-Berry was Mrs. T-Berry was there
with Tabby.
Mrs. T-Berry was there with Tabby and her own dog Zeke, and they ate cake and they drank tea and watched the snowfall all night long.
And Mr. Potter and Tabby went home with a very nice toaster that sang America the Beautiful and the bread pop up. The end.
The illustration in this book.
Well, we're finished with that book. There's only one thing to say. Thank you for watching this video. If you want to see more, you guys subscribe. Thank you for watching. Bye. Bye.
That was lovely.